1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Board of Commissions, City of Bowling Green, Kentucky, regular meeting, City Hall, November 2nd, 2021 at 4:30. We're going to start out with an invocation. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Bailey and lead us in a pledge of allegiance.
I'm going to introduce, here today I have from First Christian Baptist, our senior pastor, Megan Houston, and she's going to give the invocation today. I was looking for you.
Would you pray with me? Gracious and loving God, God who does more than we can even ask or imagine, we come together today calling upon your vision for our people. Today we lift up our public servants and ask that you would accompany them in this major role of serving this community. God, we remember that your scriptures call us to care for the most vulnerable among us. And so today we remember those in our town who are struggling to make ends meet on a fixed income. We lift up brothers and sisters who are not housed. We pray for those who are discriminated against because of the color of their skin or who they love. God, we pray with our words at times, but we also pray with our lives. May our prayers to make our community look more like your kingdom be more than just lip service today. May we walk the walk as much as we talk the talk. God, it feels like these days we spend more time talking over each other and less time listening to one another. So tonight at this meeting over this business, I pray your special blessing upon all who enter. Help us to remember that we are all made in your image and that many are carrying burdens that we don't even know about. God, we thank you for this beautiful community that is full of diverse and incredible people. As we take in the beauty of fall, we are reminded of the preciousness of this one life. May we use our gifts to serve you and to lift up those on the margins. God, we thank you for this opportunity to serve you today. Amen.
I would ask everyone to turn to the flag and thank you, Megan, for giving the invocation. And let's pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Bailey. Thank you very much, Megan. Very nice prayer. All right, we are going to start off with a roll call. Mrs. Jackson.
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner Beasley Brown. Here. Commissioner Hill. Here. Commissioner Perigin. Here. Mayor Alcott.
Here. Our next is our city manager. Do you have any comments at this time?
I have none, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Our first agenda is approval of minutes for the regular meeting, October 19th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Hill. There's no further discussion at this time. Roll call, please.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2021-187.
Municipal order approving the promotions of Brett Smith to the position of Deputy Fire Chief, Chris Curtis to the position of, and Merv Hochstedler to the position of Captain, and Dustin Jones, Kyle Hampton, and Stephen Rosebrook to the position of Engineer in the Fire Department.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Meisel.
Yes, Mayor, we have some openings in the fire department that were created by some retirements. First of all, I'd like to recognize and thank Deputy Chief Jim Morrow for his 26 years of service with the fire department. As you know, Chief Morrow was our interim chief this summer, filling in the void in between chiefs, and did just a stellar job of that. Also like to recognize Captain Ron Renner for serving us 16 years in the fire department. I believe he had some military service on top of that allowed him to retire. And then last but not least, Evan Henderson was with us for 20 years, served us as a engineer, captain, a lot of different things, and did a great job for us. I want to thank those guys for their service. And so I'd like to call up Chief Brooks to make his recommendations for filling these empty slots. As you know, in the fire department, it's kind of a domino effect. So Chief Brooks, if you'll make your recommendations.
Mayor, Board of Commissioners, City Manager, thank you for the opportunity. As he described, 61 plus years, walked out of that firehouse on Friday night. And we tried to honor as best as we could those 3 men for their service to the city on Friday night. We admit both publicly and privately that we're not here tonight to fill their shoes, but rather tonight to recommend 6 men for promotion. And that over time and with experience, they will make this department better. The 6 men that will stand before you tonight provide hope, not only for myself and our department, but also to the citizens we serve. Hope that comes from the confidence I have in these men as leaders and servants of others. Tonight represents the next wave of leadership from the BGFD that is here now and on the way. Leadership that will make it better. All 6 men have numerous certifications and have completed the department's promotional process, which include both a written and skills assessment and a command staff interview. I'm here to recommend the following personnel for promotion. If I can, I'd get them all to stand together. Brett Smith to the rank of Deputy Chief. Merv Hochstetler to the rank of Captain. Chris Cardis to the rank of Captain. Dustin Jones to the rank of Engineer. Kyle Hampton to the rank of Engineer. And Stephen Rosebrook to the rank of Engineer. I would be grateful for your approval, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Chief Brooks. We have the utmost confidence, I do, in your leadership and your selections tonight. So, comments? All right, well, let's make this official. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill? Yes. Perigin? Yes. Alcott?
Yes, congratulations, gentlemen. And with the families of those adjoining, please stand up as well. How about another round? Special night, a new generation begins. So thank you, and we wish you the best, and thank you for taking care of our community and our citizens and keeping us safe. Well done. Thank you, Chief. All right. Y'all not staying? It's a long one. Y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all. Municipal Order Number 2021-188.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Terry Jo Mercer to the position of Financial Specialist in the Finance Department.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
So we recently had a promotion in finance of Megan Van Meter to procurement manager to fill Marilyn Perigin's place as she retired from procurement manager. And tonight we have found a replacement for Megan's position at the Treasury counter, Treasury Division, and that's Terry Mercer. Terry, would you please stand? Terry is currently an office assistant too in Parks and Rec. We're, again, of course, doing another transfer. It's moving from part-time to full-time, giving opportunity to our own. And Terry's been with Parks since 2019. Has done a lot of work down there for them with aquatics and golf divisions, reconciling daily financials, and assisting with accounts payable, customer service at Parks and Rec counter at the main center. And prior to that, Terry worked as a bank or a branch operations manager at State Bank and Trust in Atlanta, Georgia. So she comes with a good financial background, and we are pleased and happy to recommend Terry Jo Mercer for this position of financial specialist in the finance department.
Okay, open for comments, questions? All right, thank you for your nomination. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes, congratulations, Terry. Municipal Order Number 2021-189.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting the construction of a River Street pedestrian path connection through a sole source from Scotty's Contracting and Stone LLC of Bowling Green, Kentucky, in an amount not to exceed $150,000.
So moved.
Second. Well,
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
As you all probably have noticed, if you've been down to the river, there's been a lot of work going on with the riprap rock underneath the bridge, underneath the River Street Bridge. The state is working on that to get the river bank in good condition again. And so we contracted with Scotty's as well, piggybacked on that contract with the state for Scotty's to place a multi-use path underneath the bridge to connect each side, the east and west. And so before you tonight, this item, I'm going to have to phone a friend, and that friend is Greg Meredith. I'm going to ask Greg to come up and explain to you the rest of this contract that we're proposing tonight to you to do continued work on our greenway connecting over to the Weldon Pete side or the east side of the river. Greg, would you explain this project and what all is encompassed in it? Thank you.
Sure, just briefly, and I don't want to go over what we've already been, but just to accentuate a few things. This was a project that was started back in 2015 as an idea for us to get a multi-use path to connect both sides of River Street Bridge, which they're both park properties. One is where the old landfill was, and the other is the side where all the greenways trails are adjacent to Weldon Pete Park. And so the opportunities to make those kind of connections don't come around very often. The fact that the state was working on the bridge and the bridge abutment and what they call scour mitigation, where the river had kind of eaten up underneath the bridge abutment, was an opportune time for us to be able to partner to get the path done at the same time. Of course, pedestrians crossing River Street, what used to be Old Louisville Road, is precarious at best. Traffic, probably 45 miles an hour doesn't do it justice, maybe 55. And so that's not really conducive for what we'd like to do in terms of connecting those parks and what ultimately the plan for the parks will be. So with that, again, we partnered with the state. We asked them to actually do more, to go ahead and make the full connection for us. They declined because of liability and because of some other things. And so that left us, Will, if you will look at your graphics here, we've got a green color, a red color, and kind of a golden color. The green portion is what KYTC is doing in conjunction with their bridge maintenance project. The red and the gold represents a pedestrian bridge, is all being accomplished with this project that's before you here tonight. So we couldn't get, because of the fact that we can't take time to bid this out next spring, because our access is partially where Scotty's is doing the work for the state, for the scour mitigation. So we have to access the bridge from the landfill side predominantly. We'll be able to get to some of it on the other side where we set the bridge. So this project, in a nutshell, makes that connection. It makes it with the 10-foot wide multi-use path. It makes it with the handrail to make it safe for people to travel from one side of the park to the other. It's also going to be lighted. It's going to have conduit for future needs, maybe cameras, maybe emergency call buttons, etc. So this project will have a pedestrian bridge. If you're familiar with the recent Greenway project that we did there on Moss Meadows, which connects up behind the middle school and the new Jennings Creek Elementary School, this bridge will look exactly like that. It'll just be a little bit longer to span the distance. We'll continue the riprap ditches, the scour protection, if you will, on both sides of the path that we build. And it will connect to the asphalt path that's on the Weldon Pete side. On the side next to Old Louisville Road, that'll be a temporary connection as we continue to flesh out what's going to happen there as we develop that park. And so that's the general overview. I guess I should take a breath and take a question or two, if you have any.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So we are going ahead and connecting that green path under the bridge to Old Louisville Road.
Path.
The Park West is just a temporary, because it's not on the map, so I was
Right, it's
gonna
not on the
ask about
map.
that.
It'll just be temporary. It's gravel on that side anyway.
Yes,
So that will be a quote-unquote temporary connection. People
Okay.
will be able to access it
Okay,
as soon as
great.
we're finished
Okay,
with the work.
wonderful. Well, I'm super excited about this continued investment downtown in our riverfront park and, investing in ways for our community to be able to access the incredible, natural features and our waterways there and making that park more accessible to our community. So, good ride.
And
Thank you all.
Mr. Meredith, I
Yes.
can't wait till it's done too, but one question. How would it sustain, I guess, the flooding that's down in that area?
So if you look at the picture, the graphic that was included, the water was pretty high at the time that photo was taken. That's probably a couple of years ago, maybe 3. So you can see the water goes right up adjacent to where the path would be built. So that was a high water elevation time, if you will, after probably an early spring storm. So there's going to be times we had to maintain a certain distance from the bottom of the bridge beams down to the path for a number of reasons, mostly because the state was concerned about, people hanging out, damaging the bridge beam from the bottom. So because of that elevation, that's not, the 100-year flood elevation will still get up to where the path is, and that's just something we have to accept in terms of making that connection. It's not, it's not perfect, but it's very good. The times that it floods the path are going to be few and far between, if you will.
And I appreciate it. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to see when everything's fully completed down there. So,
Be nice.
thank you, Mr. Meredith.
Thank you.
Mr. Meredith, bit by bit, the green path continues, so very excited about this. All right, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2021-190.
Municipal order accepting the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky Annual Comprehensive Financial Report for the period ended June 30th, 2021, as prepared by the Department of Finance and audited by MCM CPAs and Advisors, LLP.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
So in your packets is a 185-page annual comprehensive financial report. Today is November 2nd, and I believe this is the earliest we've ever brought this to this meeting for approval. I'm very proud of our finance department for getting this done. I'd like to thank Katie Schaller-Ward for her leadership, and especially her assistant CFO, Aaron Ballou, in the back in the black and white check, and Sean Weeks as well, that was here earlier, our other assistant CFO. They put a lot of work into this, along with the whole finance department from day one. I think I've always tried to emphasize that everybody over there in that building has a part with every figure in this report and putting it together and making sure it's accurate and correct. So anyway, we've run this, brought this to the audit committee. Katie did the other day at Deborah Jenkins. And the audit committee met, and I'd like to ask our chairman of the audit committee, Mr. Brian Denning, to come up and make his comments on the annual financial report. Brian?
Hey, good afternoon. As Jeff mentioned, the audit committee met a few weeks ago and viewed a presentation by MCM auditing firm where they gave us an unmodified clean opinion, bragged on how good the financial statements looked for the city and what a good job the city was doing. So we were very pleased to hear that. Just a few highlights within that document that you received is the overall governmental net position increased about 12.4% this year, and the overall governmental fund balance increased actually $56 million, about 72%. Both of those related to proceeds and bond proceeds issues from the Kentucky Transpark. The general fund balance decreased 4.8 million, but that still has a balance of 29.1 million, which includes a rainy day fund of about 16.7 million. So the cash position is still strong for the city. Couple other items that are of note are the pension liability that you have to list, and that's through figures that are provided by the state through the county retirement systems, the CERS, and that liability increased 11.6% for the current year. And that was all I wanted to mention. The audit committee recommends your approval of this audit.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for your service on the audit committee, and please send thanks from myself and whoever else to the rest of the committee.
Well, thank you.
It wins an award every year, and it's pretty amazing. It's a lot of
Well,
work.
and we were happy to have Melinda Hill join us this time. I think she's new to the audit committee. We had formerly worked with Commissioner Denning in the past. So, is there any other questions, or? All right, thank you.
I just also wanted to thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
So the committee, Commissioner Hill, our finance department, our auditor, just everybody coming together to really help us be transparent to the citizens of Bowling Green, and being able to take apart piece by piece every little bit of how we spend taxpayer dollars and making sure that we're presenting that to our citizens in a way that you don't have to be a CPA to understand how our taxpayers are being spent, and the time and the commitment that it must take from the volunteers on the audit committee and just our staff to make this happen is just incredible to me. And I'm just so grateful that you all have done such an amazing job as always, and you definitely deserve these awards for the ways that you make our finances as a city accessible and transparent to our citizens. So thank you for helping us meet those goals as in good governance.
Just one more comment. These annual financial reports are on our website. We have many, many years out there that anybody can go on and look at, along with our many, many years of budget. So we will come out with a popular annual financial report here in the next few weeks or month. That's the colorful, pretty one with the graphs. That's a condensed version of this here before Christmas, most likely, that we usually do. So just want to make sure that everybody's aware that you can, anytime you want to look at any of our financials, they're all on our website. Our monthly financial report is also posted on our website. So anybody that has trouble sleeping at night, they can just get on there and open one of those up and get to sleep. So thank you.
Service, Mr. Denning.
Thank you.
Just note before we vote, building the credibility with the community in audit processes, checks and balances is critical, to be able to be trusted in your community. And I would like to say I'm very proud of the financial team that Katie Schaller-Ward has led, and to the entire team. So our hats off to you. So well done, Katie. All right, let's make this official. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Order number BG 2021-42 is our first reading and is non-binding.
Ordinance granting franchise related to telecommunication system. Ordinance granting a non-exclusive telecommunications or related non-cable franchise to Open Fiber Kentucky Company LLC, a foreign limited liability company, for the use of rights-of-way for the operation and maintenance of a telecommunications or related non-cable system within the city of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and further authorizing the execution of a franchise agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. We were contacted by Open Fiber Kentucky Company LLC they have a need to access our right-of-ways. They have a customer, I believe, located in Heartland that they are wanting to connect fiber for. And to do that, they had to come and get a telecommunications franchise. And Hillary Hightower, our city attorney, has worked with them on this franchise agreement. There was a $6,000 application fee that they have paid to receive this franchise to use our right-of-way. And I'll turn it over to Hillary if you have any questions about this franchise agreement.
Really don't have any control over this, correct?
Correct.
We want to make that clear to folks.
That's correct. In 2019, the FCC preempted our authority to grant or deny franchises. What we can do is regulate aesthetics, require insurance, make sure we have notice of when they're going to be in our right-of-way, have plans ahead of time, make them do street repairs, those sorts of things. But we cannot grant or deny a franchise that complies with our reasonable requirements, and our requirements have to be reasonable as well as our fee. So they have met those requirements. John Binkley, I believe, is here from Open Fiber. If you have any specific questions from him about their plans, and I think their plan was pretty specific in here, but that's correct.
This doesn't take fiber to people's homes.
It does not. They do not offer residential fiber. They are only a commercial fiber company.
Any other questions or comments from the commission at this time? All right, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2021-191.
Municipal order approving and authorizing conveyance of 1 acre of real property owned by the Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc. to Warren County Water District, and further authorizing a partial cancellation of amended and restated ground lease agreement and second supplemental contract, lease, and option between the City of Bowling Green and Warren County.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, seconded by Commissioner Hill.
So as you know, there's a lot of activity in the Trans Park right now, and with that activity creates more demand. And so the ITA is offering to give an acre of property, convey that over to Warren County Water District to build a pump station along 6880. And anytime that the ITA has to give or sell land below $25,000, it requires approval of this board per bond ordinance. So we're coming to you tonight with this conveyance of property, and I think it's just the 1 acre. Hillary worked on this with Gaines Penn, the ITA's attorney, and can answer any questions you might have on this, but it's just a simple conveyance of the 1 acre to the Warren County Water District to build the pump station.
Was this sparked by the newest 450 job announcement, the largest ever in the Trans Park?
I think it's a combination of just all of them up there going on, and all the new stuff coming in at once, so yes.
We both serve on that board, and it's amazing every month that comes around, the announcements and the jobs and the opportunities and the growth for economic development. It's really a pleasure serving on that board and watching us grow out there.
It's exciting to see the continuation of the trans parks, both south and north, but the infrastructure is, just trying to keep up, and this is, offering an opportunity to offset costs that the taxpayers ultimately get stuck with one way or the other. So not charging, I think, is the right way to go, because it's going to be offset into the utilities if it weren't. So I just want to discuss that. Any other discussion at this time? Okay. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-43, our first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning 2 tracts of land containing 1.6358 acres from LI Light Industrial to RM4 Multifamily Residential located at 0 Enterprise Court, presently owned by Wayne and Elva Overholt with MNM LLC as the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Bailey. Mr. Meisel.
I believe this was a unanimous vote with Planning and Zoning to develop this property up to maximum of 40 multifamily residential units. Mr. Peterson is here, can answer any of your questions you might have on this.
Commissioners? Questions? No questions at this time. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-44, our first reading, and is non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 20.45 acres from AG Agriculture and RM3 Townhouse Multifamily Residential to LI Light Industrial located at 0 Kobe Way and a portion of 263 John D. Jones Road, presently owned by Weston Apartments LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
Forgot to mention the first one was Enterprise Court just off Russellville Road. This is another one out there near our new connection to the South Industrial Park from the Russellville Road side, and it's for to convert from agricultural to RM3 and light industrial along Kobe Way. And I believe this was another unanimous vote, and Mr. Peterson is here for questions on this one.
Mr. Peterson, let me ask you this. I know that there is going to be a buffer. I think they outlined it in number 13.
Correct.
What is the space that they're going to have between the building and the buffer from John D., is it John D. Jones Road?
Right. So a couple things that were discussed and agreed to by the applicants on this one. So they will not have a connection to John D. Jones Road at all. There'll be only access for these industrial properties will be on the new Kobe Way. The buildings cannot be any closer than 50 feet to that back property line or John D. Jones Road. And then additionally, they are going to do the incompatible use buffer that is found in the zoning ordinance, as they agreed to that in addition to along John D. Jones Road to further screen the properties. So it'd be those three things.
We know, I guess, what's coming? What type of light industrial is going to be over there?
Not particularly. They just mentioned things like warehouse and distribution, trucking companies, those types of, there's a great need for those as we buy more things and ship them rather than go shop for them. There's more need for those. So they mentioned those, but they don't have any particular tenant in mind at this time.
Did we hear anything from the residents that is on the other side of John D. Jones? No one?
There's no opposition on this one.
I got you. No further questions.
Thank you.
I just had one additional question. Since this is, existing residential here, and then we're moving in some light industrial, I just want to make sure, we're doing that in a way that takes care of that neighborhood. Did they agree to any hours of operation? I'm thinking if, there are, if they're open 24 hours with different shifts and the beeping noise that forklifts and trucks make, I want to make sure that we've got appropriate buffer here to make sure that they can, have a restful, peaceful place to sleep if we're moving this in after they've already bought their homes.
So no hours of operation were discussed or agreed to. That's about the only answer I have for you.
And then can you describe the incompatible use buffer? What is in the ordinance that they will put in?
So Commissioner Bailey referenced that development plan condition number 13, I believe it was. Along the entirety of John D. Jones Road, they will have to put in 3 deciduous shade trees and 6 evergreens per 100 linear feet. And then there's a couple of other options there. So it will be basically a row of evergreens and deciduous trees as well. So the evergreens will not only screen the view, but obviously it takes a few years to get to maturity, but they should help reduce some of that sound.
Did I see something about how if there was some screening that they would need to do if they were going to have particular things
Yeah, so if the loading and any unloading or unloading docks, so the things they back up to load and unload goods, those would also have to be screened from view.
Okay. Thank you so much. You addressed my concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2021-192.
Municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a flexible neighborhood grant agreement with Delafield residents in partnership with Hotel Inc.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
The Delafield residents have partnered with Hotel Inc. To apply for this grant to improve their neighborhood for it's a $2,000, formerly known as the SNAP grant. We call them flexible grants now, but it's to assist with the Delafield community. Since they don't have an HOA, we now allow them to partner with other agencies to apply for these grants and get things done. So I'd like to thank Hotel Inc. for partnering with Delafield neighbors, and looking forward to seeing what they can do with this $2,000 in that neighborhood down there.
And they're reinstating their neighborhood association. I think that is just wonderful news.
I think they're working on it. Mhm.
Wonderful.
Further comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2021-193.
Municipal order authorizing payment to the Warren County Property Valuation Administrator for fiscal year 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
We got our annual assessment from the PVA just a few weeks ago, and property tax bills went out, I believe, 1st of October. And we do not ever want to, in my opinion, ever want to be a property value assessor. It's a lot of work, and so we pay Warren County PVA to do that work for us. And that fee is $100,000. That's the maximum fee because we are now at $7.5 billion in property assessment. So once you reach 6, you go from a $60,000 fee to $100,000 fee. So $100,000 is the max that we'll ever have to pay, but I think that's a pretty good deal for what we get. We have a new PVA, by the way, too. It's doing a great job. Susan, shouldn't have said it, but Susan is doing a great job. Our new PVA. Oliver, thank you, Brent. Susan Oliver did an outstanding job first year of property assessment, property tax roll. So we just need your permission to give them or pay them this $100,000 for the invoice.
Comments? Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2021-194.
Municipal order approving a job development incentive program employee withholdings credit agreement with Android Industries Bowling Green LLC.
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
I'm going to turn this one over to Katie Schaller-Ward, who manages our job development incentive program. Katie?
This is an expansion of a project that was actually presented to the Job Development Incentive Program Committee back in September and November of 2019. So the project is getting ready to go final with the state, and so they need our approval of our JDIP agreement with them. And so this is a presentation of 50 new jobs and about $1.4 million of capital investment, and the city will match what the Kentucky Economic Development will provide of a 3% with 1% of our 1.85%. So that's approximately $195,000 over the 10-year period that the company would be able to get back in an incentive.
Questions?
What kind of a company is it? What do they make? Anybody know? Android Inc.?
I don't actually know what they offer, but they are located in the Trans Park.
I was going to say, are they at the Trans Park?
They are located in the Trans Park. They've been there for a few years, so this is their first expansion where we were able
This
to.
was This was under a former name. This is property holding company, I believe, affiliated with General Motors, I believe. So,
They currently had, I think, 72 positions, so adding 50 would take them up over 120.
Further comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-45 for first reading is non-binding.
Ordinance relating to a budget amendment. Ordinance approving Amendment Number 1 to the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky Annual Operating Budget for fiscal year 2022.
So moved.
Second.
By Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill.
so throughout the year, we have changes that are needed to the adopted budget, and this is our first budget amendment for FY '22. And I'd like to turn this over to Katie again to answer any questions or present the highlights of this amendment. First one for the year. This, anytime we receive new money or need to move money from one fund to another fund, budget amendment will address that, and that's what's in here for the most part.
Pretty good. We made it all the way to November.
We try to do them quarterly, so we're a little bit behind, but we're trying to get the audit done, so.
Great. No further questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-41, second reading is binding.
Ordinance de-annexing property. Ordinance de-annexing approximately 8.32 acres located at the intersection of Old Richardsville Road and Kentucky Highway 185, as requested by the Bowling Green Moose Lodge 356.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Bailey. We've seen this, I believe this is our fourth time's a charm.
Last.
And congratulations, Moose Lodge. We will make this official. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. At this time, Mrs. Jackson, will you please check to see if we have anyone that has signed up for public comments? And I think Sue's going to take a little break. Going to resume when Commissioner Perigin returns. The engagement is that you can come up to the podium. I have your addresses, so I won't make you repeat that. We ask that the addresses be within the city, and you just state your name when you come up to the podium, and you have up to 5 minutes, but I'll kind of give you a flash at 3 if you're there. But we'll ask that our public comments remain within our ordinances at 5 minutes at the max. But we kind of given 3 to 5 is the window. So, Sue, you're back. All right. Our first is Mary Pierce.
Hi, Mayor, City Commissioners, City Mayor, Clerk, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share some thoughts and concerns with you today. As I viewed some of the pictures and the videos that appeared online at the recent Pride Festival in Bowling Green last weekend, I felt a mixture of surprise, sadness, and disgust. I admit, I have never felt a need to prance and gyrate on stage with a mostly naked body in suggestive ways, wearing a skimpy pleather S&M outfit, as occurred last weekend here in Bowling Green. And you all are probably lucky I haven't. It would not be a pretty sight. I am willing to bet that most people of all sexual orientations don't have this goal in life. As the gentleman, gentlewoman with barely enough pleather to cover his or her private parts, split his legs, her legs, to reveal his crotch, I wondered why the police were not there to stop this exhibition. As the gentleman, gentlewoman rubbed his or her hands up and down his or her torso and fake breasts as he or she twerked and pumped like a dog in heat, I thought, why isn't anyone there to stop the minors in the audience from viewing this? For that matter, the general public. Without judging sexual orientations, which I am not doing, and am supportive of people of all types, we have to draw some standards around what behaviors are allowable in public and what behaviors must be performed in more private venues or not allowed at all. I thought some of the behavior exhibited last weekend in Circus Square was only allowable in private clubs, since laws control such public displays so that youth can be protected. So why was this allowed on our public squares this last weekend? And why with minors present? Why do my tax dollars go to pay for a venue featuring such a display? Do our laws only apply to heterosexuals? Or do we have no laws at all? The display this weekend was sad to me. All of our precious lives are a combination of our physical body, including our sexuality, spirit, thoughts, words, and actions. It's sad to think that these performers, or this performer, thought so little of himself, herself, that they feel the need to flaunt their sexuality in this manner in public. It's interesting that this group of diverse sexual identities seem to crave acceptance, which I am happy to provide, but they go out of their way to offend. Perhaps if this group was more respectful of others, they may actually see greater acceptance of others by others of them. It's sad that these performers and their audience believe this display of erotic shock and awe intended to offend will make them feel better about themselves. In the meantime, others pity that they value themselves so little by participating and supporting erotic shows like this in public. If you are one of the now 200 genders or more, I say march all you like. Celebrate your diversity and your differences. However, it's not acceptable to demonstrate erotic behavior in public in front of minors, regardless of sexual orientation. And it's the job of the elected officials to stop this behavior when it occurs. If the pride community, or any heterosexual for that matter, feels it is their right to perform in this way, I say buy a club or get a room. We have plenty of bodily functions the general public doesn't want to view. It's one of the reasons we have walls around public toilets. Sometimes it's the role of our elected officials to protect the community from these behaviors. Other times it's the responsibility of our elected officials to save the performers from themselves. I think this may have been an occasion where our elected officials and authorities fell down on the job on both cases. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Next, we have Debbie Peoples.
Can I give these
these to you, Ashley.
My name is Debbie Peoples. Thank you for having us, Mayor and Commissioners, City Manager. I come before you as a concerned citizen of our great city of Bowling Green. I grew up in Bowling Green and raised my child here. I'm a realtor and I meet lots of out-of-town people and have always felt confident saying that Bowling Green is a great place to raise a family. But I don't know if I will be able to continue to say that in the future. I was appalled when someone sent me a Facebook post of a performance that took place at Circus Square Park on October 23rd. The performance was lewd and something that I imagined might take place in a strip club or a bar. The performer was scantily clad, as you can see in the first two photos which I provided. In the third and fourth pictures, you can see the performer climbing the poles and lying on the stage, spreading legs for everyone to see. The last photo, which you can't see very well, is the performer lying on the stage and gyrating his hips up and down. I would have provided the video, but I was told that wasn't allowed, so I can only furnish you these pictures of the post. This performance was posted at 8:25 that night, so it had to have taken some time before then, which is early enough for there to have potentially been young children there. I have also included a photo of the LGBTQ Pride Facebook page advertising the Pride Festival. As you can see, I have highlighted that the invite is to enjoy free admission to the Bowling Green Pride. From noon to 5 p.m. CDT, join us at Circus Square for music, drag, etc. ! Then at 7 p.m., get ready for the Pride Crawl. I don't know what that is, and I can't imagine what it is. And more drag performances in Circus Square! It goes on, more drag in Circus Square Park to follow! Lastly, what's most disturbing is at the bottom you can see that this is tagged kid-friendly. I ask you, do we want to expose our children, families, and visitors to this at our public venues? I ask you, if this is okay, what is considered too far? One reason why I'm here is because I don't believe the majority of people in our county and community even know that this took place. Our newspaper and local television station failed to report on this aspect of the events of that day. Do the corporate sponsors know about this and what is being promoted with their names on it? I believe everyone in our community needs to know that this took place. Have we normalized or become numb to this type of public display? Do we want this to be a part of our normal entertainment in our public venues at any time of day or night? Do we need a reset of our moral compass? At least our city ordinances do actually condemn performances like this in public. Declaration of Public Policy, Section 9-2.01 states that the Board of Commissioners declare as a matter of public policy that the prohibition of the display or exhibition in public establishments open to minors of works which are harmful to minors, representations and depictions of sexual acts, sexual excitement, nude or partially denuded human figures, which was all included in this performance, that the prohibition is a public necessity. That same language is used in defining works deemed harmful to minors under obscene material definitions, Section 9-2.02, and to describe the works that are prohibited once again in Section 9-2.03. Chapter 24 of the ordinance, with regard to sexually explicit business licensing regulation, findings 24-1.01D, speaks to the adverse secondary effects of sexually explicit entertainment on the community, particularly through outdoor displays, leading to a number of negative effects on the community as described therein. 24-102 continues with the Board of Commissioners declare as a matter of public policy that licensing regulation of sexually explicit entertainment establishments is a public necessity and required in the interest of public health, safety and welfare, and the economic and aesthetic well-being of the people. Again, I believe the same would apply to this performance. I need some clarification. These are city ordinances and declarations in writing by the Board of Commissioners. How is it that this performance was allowed to happen in our outdoor city venue? And isn't it the role of our officials to protect our community? How will you as leaders of our city do something to prevent something like this from happening again, where our children and families and visitors would be exposed to obscene performances which will negatively affect our lives, community, and economy? As Governor Beshear described the recent events in Hazard, Kentucky, as totally unacceptable, inappropriate, and should have never happened, I believe the same for this performance. Again, I ask you, is this what we want for Bowling Green? Everyone in our community should realize what is being allowed to take place and be aware of what our leaders are promoting, performances such as this, of which of our leaders are promoting performances such as this. We all need to start standing up and speaking out and vote for leaders who will not allow this type of performance to harm our children or our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peak. Next is Deborah Harston.
I live in the county, and I don't have anything to say that they haven't covered. I thought the ladies did a great job.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
I'm
Well, I still probably don't have anything left. I just was listening, and they said so many things that were in my heart today. First of all, thank y'all for letting me ramble on. But just, I had seen those videos too, and I've been to the Gay Pride Festival in the past, just walked around and enjoyed talking with people and all, but then I saw some of the drag queens, which was totally inappropriate. But I just appreciate all the research that they've done and the statistics and background in it. Like I said, I don't have anything to add except those displays like that and what I saw just make me so sad for myself, for my children, my grandchildren, for our community. That's not what Bowling Green is to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harston. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending tonight. This concludes our public comments and concludes our meeting. Our next scheduled meeting is November 16th at 2021. We're adjourned. Thank you.